Fight, and you may die. Run, and you'll live, at least a while. And dying in your beds many years from now, would you be willing to trade all the days from this day to that for one chance, just one chance to come back here and tell our enemies that they may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom?
Is that what we're really starting out with? I mean, aren't you supposed to greet the audience and be like, "Hey, welcome to Drafty After Dark"?
Grab a drink and have a seat. It's time for Drafty After Dark. With your hosts, Russell James and the Howling Wolf.
All right, and welcome back to Drafty After Dark. How you guys doing?
Fucking outstanding!
That's the Howling Wolf. And producer Barry here today.
I mean,
Hi, Barry.
I'm all right, but I don't know about all that.
All right, well, we got quite a bit of interesting stuff we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about what's going on in Virginia. We have a clarification for everyone who is paying attention to what's going on with our president at the moment. And then we have a UFC card breakdown from last weekend with our correspondent, Jesse. Then we're going to discuss the illusion of independence.
Yes. All the illusions of independence.
With a surprise movie conversation at the end.
Surprise.
Don't be surprised. We usually do that. All right.
Surprise is a movie you've never seen before. Oh!
Probably. It just came out.
Yeah.
All right. So, Virginia.
I hear she doesn't own a dress.
I don't know if she does or not. But the state attempted to address an issue.
Address.
Yeah, there we are. That's the joke.
Yeah.
All right. A bill being pushed by Democrats in the Virginia legislation would make it a Class 1 misdemeanor to carry, buy, sell, import, or transfer firearm magazines that can hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition. Kathy Tran is the primary sponsor of legislation, and she also supports a ban on semi-automatic rifles such as the AR-15, which AR-15 stands for Armalite Rifle, not Assault Rifle. In the November election, Democrats won control over the Virginia House and Senate, which they will assume in January. Ralph Northam, a liberal Democrat, is the governor of Virginia. The bill would prohibit a person from carrying a gun with a magazine that could hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition in a public space in Virginia. A similar bill has been introduced in the Virginia Senate. According to the House bill, the only exception to this rule would be for firearms used by law enforcement officers. The summary of the proposed law states it prohibits any person from importing, selling, bartering, or transferring a firearms magazine designed to hold more than 10 rounds of ammunition, causing it to be a Class 1 misdemeanor. The bill prohibits a person from carrying a shotgun with a magazine that will hold more than 7 rounds of the longest ammunition for which it is chambered in a public place. The bill redefines assault firearm by reducing the number of rounds of ammunition that a firearm magazine will hold in order to be defined as an assault firearm from more than 20 to more than 10. For instance, if you own a semi-automatic pistol that holds 10 rounds of ammunition in its stock magazine, it would be illegal to purchase a longer magazine for the handgun. Same would apply to long guns. No magazine that carries more than 10 bullets per magazine, 7 bullets for shotguns. So essentially outlawing different types of magazines. Delegate Tran, who was endorsed by the Pride Fund to End Gun Violence, said she is fighting to keep guns out of the hands of criminals, domestic abusers, and those with severe mental illness. Tran pushes for universal background checks to close the loopholes for sales of firearms at gun shows and over the internet, and fights to restore Virginia's one handgun a month rule to combat gun running. However, pro-gun groups say measures like this will make citizens less safe and believe that people in the United States need weapons with high magazine capacity to protect themselves. A magazine ban is unconstitutional according to the U.S. and state constitutions. Eric Pratt, Senior Vice President of Gun Owners of America, said it will not keep criminals from acquiring them, but it will make citizens less safe. According to Pratt, there are many cases in which criminals have intruded into people's houses, but because the homeowner had a gun with a higher capacity magazine, they were better able to defend their homes and their families. Pratt also noted that the August shooting in Dayton, Ohio, which took 6 policemen firing 58 rounds to take down the gunman who was wearing a bulletproof vest. If it takes that much lead from 6 well-trained officers to stop an attacker, Pratt said, why would we think that average citizens need less than 10 rounds?
All right, hold on.
All right.
Is that article done?
That article.
Okay,
done.
hold on. I just want to clarify one thing extremely quick.
Oh, that article is brought to you by cnsnews.com.
Okay, cnsnews.com. Great reporting. So, am I under the impression, because I want to make sure I'm very clear before I speak.
Yeah.
So, it's a conceal and carry permit that would send anything. If you had a pistol that had more than 10 in the magazine, I would assume 1 in the chamber, which would be 11. It is illegal to conceal and carry that, correct? With the new bill.
Yes, if you have 11 bullets.
Now, they said, oh, well, if it's in your home and, they try to break into your home and you have a gun, conceal and carry is different than having a gun in your home.
No. You can't, it outlaws magazines. So you can't own a magazine that would allow your gun more than 10 bullets in the magazine.
I suggest you take some target practice to become a really good shot.
I mean, that's essentially what their local government is saying.
These whole things, and I mean, these are the people who elected them in, but at the same time, these type of things is incrementalism. They always start off taking a little bit, and to sit there and say that, oh, these criminals, they're not going to follow the law anyway, so it's just going to leave the common man less safe. And they're like, well, that's no reason to not pass a law. Well, it kind of is when it depends on your public security. Yeah. And the fact that the cops don't have to abide by this law, I automatically think it should be stricken. Because I believe our law enforcement should lead by example, like our state. There are state officials, there are state officers, they should lead by example. You don't get to sit there and say, oh, you can't blow a stoplight or a stop sign unless you're a cop. Well, if the cop has his sirens on and he's actually like on the way to an emergency, fine, that's different. But you can't just see a cop blow a stop sign if he's not, on duty or doesn't have his lights on. You're supposed to lead by example. This is why nobody takes anything fucking seriously, because it's this whole do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah.
So there's my outlook on that.
So certain counties have voted to become Second Amendment sanctuaries, which essentially is saying that they're gonna rebel against the state if the law passes.
Let's see how many of their counties they lose. I mean, because to be quite honest, what are they going to do? Round up all the counties that said, yeah, we don't really want to have these high-armed magazines that go up against these counties that have high-armed magazines?
Right. Well, so there are even law enforcement. There are law enforcement officers who have stated that they will not enforce this law.
I don't blame them.
And I think that that's something.
That's good.
I think that is a good precedence that we are seeing. The governor of Virginia has said that he is willing to take whatever measures necessary, whether it be to fire and detain those police officers because they're breaking their oath. So, quote unquote, they're breaking the law.
Their oath is to serve and protect, and it sounds like that's exactly what they're doing.
Right. Well, his take is that if they're not going to enforce laws, then they have no place being a police officer. Essentially trying to make them, they are kind of state-ran, but essentially taking the moral quandary out and telling them that whatever the law is, they will enforce.
Well, fuck
or
that. I'd say deal with or rack it up to the court system. Let them deal with it like they deal with the anti-abortion laws down in Alabama a year ago.
Yeah.
They said rack it up to the court systems. This is unconstitutional. This is what I think, and let the courts deal with it.
Yeah.
This is no different. This is exactly no different. They try to pass something that invades what a lot of people consider as their constitutional freedom. You rack it up to the court system. That's why we have the courts. And if the courts say it's unconstitutional, then the law doesn't stand anyway, so those officers are actually doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. So the governor even said that he would roll out the National Guard if need be to enforce this
National
law.
Guard laugh in their fucking face. They tell him to get fucked. They would detain him for fucking raising fucking hell.
Right. I mean, what is that, though? I mean, he's basically threatening martial law?
He can't. He doesn't have the authority to threaten martial law.
But
hold on, what's it called? What's it called when you put the public in danger? Huh. I believe there's a certain word for that where you put the public in danger, whether you're a representative or not. I'm pretty sure there's like a certain term that likes to get thrown around a lot to where you put the American public in danger and you are considered a threat.
Oh, are you looking for impeachable?
Sure, why not?
An impeachable offense?
So yeah, I actually stand by those officers who are standing by the public. This governor sounds like he's very misdirected. I don't think he's bad or evil in his plans. I think he's just very misinformed on how the real world works.
I mean, and obviously you have both sides of the aisles doing what they do, where you have a lot of on the right going, "Oh, the liberals are here to take our guns."
No, what it is this is exactly the problem with our country today. No matter how you slice it or dice it. Every time there's a fucking catastrophe, everybody says, you should do something about it. You should do something about it. Somebody steps in and says, okay, we're going to do something about it. This is our plan. Well, this is unconstitutional. This guy's a piece of shit. Da-da-da. And the whole thing just starts. So they bitch about change, and then the second anybody tries to implement such change, everybody loses their fucking mind. So the thing is, instead of everybody saying, oh, we need change, you need to really start specifying which type of change you fucking need.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Right. No,
Like, I'll give you a prime example. A lot of these people are like, oh, the fossil fuel industry is causing global warming or climate change or whatever the fuck they're calling it now, and saying that the fossil fuel companies are held responsible. Now, if a politician were to come out and say, hey, we're done using fossil fuels, we're going to use something that's not as reliable, but you might have power, or you might not. We really don't know. But we're done using fossil fuels. You can't drive your car anymore. That thing's a worthless hunk of junk on your fucking driveway. So you're kind of shit out of luck on that one. But we're done with fossil fuels. We're going to save the environment.
Yeah.
But your lives are done.
Oh.
They're going to be like, oh, well, we can't fucking do this because they don't think that far ahead. And they expect the people they elect, who come from their communities, who were born in their fucking cities, who they were elected by their fucking people, to figure all this fucking shit out.
Yeah.
That fucking amazes me. And then everybody's shocked when they can't fucking do it. It's like, well, you can't.
Yeah, well, so a large percentage of Virginia, I think 60%, is for some sort of gun reform.
But not this one.
But yeah, no, this is not the right one.
If this dude came out there and said, hey, I'm going to stop the loopholes to where you buy firearms off the internet or buy firearms on a gun show, and everybody's going to have a universal background check, everybody would have been fine with it for the most part. You would have had the super ultra right gun nuts flipping their fucking shit, and most of them can probably actually buy fucking guns, and that law would not affect them in the least.
Yeah.
So you'd have, a small majority flipping their fucking shit over that one. With something like this is way too much, in my opinion, invasion of privacy. Yeah. But then again, it goes to, well, how much is too far? Because you're sitting there saying, well, their idea is 10 bullets. You can have 10 bullets in a magazine of a pistol, or 7 in a magazine of a shotgun. So, well, what if it's an SKS that holds 17, 25? I don't know, a bajillion. I don't fucking know. And you're like, well, no, that's not right. Well, what if they're jungle clips? Do those count? And it goes on. It goes on. It's like, well, what about drums? What if they're rocking a tummy gun? How many drums are you allowed to fucking own or buy or whatever?
Well,
how far does this go?
Yeah, those are all various types of magazines. So the law basically says you can only have 10 rounds in a magazine. Like, that's it. That's the cap. That's as far as it is. Right now it's 20, and they want to take another 10 away. Take it down to 10.
Well, what's wrong with 20?
I don't know. They
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking. Why were they changing a law? Obviously, something's fucked up, so they're trying to fix something that's fucked up. Why would they change that particular? Why would they go about it that particularly?
They want the people walking into places and causing mass shootings to be less lethal.
Okay, I got it.
They have less bullets, but none of that matters. Like the whole gun argument is absolutely ridiculous because criminals don't abide by the law. Like, you're not.
Well, that's what makes them criminals,
right? Like,
I mean, you really think that the dude fucking wheeling and dealing fucking coke in mass fucking amounts are gonna be like, oh well, fuck, I can't have any more than 10 fucking bullets on me. Motherfucker's carrying around dirty fucking money, carrying around an assload or a fucking trunk, assloads of fucking coke or whatever the fuck he's pushing, and he's gonna be like, all right, boys, well, there's been some changes. You can't have any more than 10 bullets in your clips while you're hauling dirty money or, laundering fucking coke. Give me a fucking break. They don't care.
No, they don't give a shit. That's why, and she mentions gun running. Being able to purchase one firearm a month is going to cut down on gun running. But gun running is already illegal and like they're just going to do it anyway. Like they don't care about your laws. Like, you're not going to catch them more. Well, you're not going to be on top of it more.
No, but you're going to fucking restrict the public more. The public's going to give up a little more of their liberty, a little more of their freedom for the idea of safety, because that's what this whole thing's about, the idea of safety, the idea of being secure. Personally, I feel a lot safer if everybody around me is packing. Everybody. Think of it like this. When was the last time you heard of a gun show getting shot up?
I don't know.
I rest my case. I haven't heard of one ever. That seems like a pretty safe fucking place, don't you think? It seems like everybody's packing. It seems like there's a lot of fucking weapons around.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
apparently that's just not a prime target.
Yeah. I'm on this side of the aisle, I guess. So it's just
it sounds like the governor's misguided.
Yeah, and so it's creating a lot of backlash, and they have 93 counties. There's 93 counties that are considered Second Amendment sanctuaries, and basically the Second Amendment sanctuary is the county is saying, "Hey, we rebuke this law. We're not going to listen to it."
Yeah,
like this is a Second Amendment county, but counties are subordinate to the state, so this is creating a huge issue. And so the Second Amendment reads, "A well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed." So one thing I've always heard that I thought was complete and utter bullshit is, they had muskets and black powder guns when they wrote that law.
Okay. So let's ride that down.
Uh-huh.
If they get rid of all the guns in this country, everybody, all the fucking Secret Service agents too, I'm talking everybody, and everybody gets muskets, then I'm serious. I'm fucking dead serious.
I agree with what you're saying. We as a people should be allowed to own whatever weapons our government can use.
Yes.
And
because
that's just
the reason that was put in there is because they didn't want tyranny to take over.
Yeah, it literally says a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state. Because if you put
the tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of tyrants and something. I can't remember.
The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
Yes,
it is
patriots.
A natural manure. Jefferson wrote in a letter to William S. Smith, a diplomatic official in London.
So yeah, that's kind of my stance on it, but at the same time, I think a lot of laws that we have in this country are just fucking stupid and really need to be off the books.
Yeah.
Like if you're caught riding a horse over 10 miles an hour in certain states, that's a fucking punishable offense. Just in case we're all like, "Oh, what type of laws are you talking about?" Those type of ridiculous ass. It just needs to be off the books. They're ridiculous laws.
Another good Thomas Jefferson quote that popped up with that one was, "What country can preserve its liberties if their rulers are not warned from time to time that their people preserve the spirit of resistance? Let them take arms."
Yeah, this was our, third president?
Yes.
Yeah. So, yeah, good job, law enforcement in Virginia.
But yeah, so in Tazewell County, on December 3rd, they approved 2 resolutions, according to television station WJHL. They passed these resolutions emphasizing the right to militia. This comes on the heels of the state trying to pass this gun law, essentially. So the first resolution declared the county a Second Amendment sanctuary, mirroring an effort displayed by several other municipalities, fearful of strict gun control measures that could be handed down from the democratically controlled state government in Richmond. That amended says the county would not devote county funds to any effort that would infringe upon its citizens' Second Amendment rights. The second resolution emphasized the right to a well-funded and regulated militia described in the U.S. Constitution and Commonwealth's Constitution. Board supervisors said the resolution would allow the county to intervene in any measure from another form of government that would infringe on county residents' Second Amendment rights, though it is unclear how such a protection would be granted.
Now, you really think the National Guard is going to step in? I'm just saying.
I don't. I mean, I hope not.
There's no fucking way.
Virginia Democrats have said they do not intend to introduce a mandatory gun buyback program and would include a grandfather clause to legislation that would ban certain types of assault weapons, which they're redefining the assault weapon by dropping the magazine size. So, but Tazewell County not dealing with their shit, not putting up with it.
Fucking blame them.
So it's all some intense shit going down in Virginia.
Yeah, they're not fucking around and they're not stepping down. And I'll tell you the best fucking thing in this situation is the fact that the fucking cops got their back. Because if the cops ain't fucking stopping them and they're fucking gonna protect them, then who's gonna come arrest them? The National Guard? Right. The National Guard sure the fuck ain't gonna arrest their own citizens. There's no fucking way.
Yeah, I mean, we hope not.
No, I would bet money. I would bet money that the cops would turn on the citizens before the National Guard did. Because you gotta think, the whole thing, you're a cop 24/7. National Guard is, 1 week in a month, 2 weeks a year, and then you're in society. You're at your job. You're at, whatever you're doing. That's way different.
Yeah.
You're a soldier 24/7. If something goes down, you get called, you got to go. But for the most part, you go to drill once a month and, 2 weeks out of the year or whatever.
And the police are setting a precedence by saying, a lot of them anyway. It's not all of them saying it, but a lot of them are saying it. And they're setting this precedence by saying, hey, even if you pass this law, we're not going to enforce it.
Yeah, that's leading by example. That's standing by your people.
Their job is to uphold the Constitution.
Their job is to uphold the law. There's a big difference. Their job is to uphold the law. The politicians are supposed to uphold the Constitution. The Constitution is the playbook. The courts are the referees, and the politicians are supposed to uphold the Constitution, and law enforcement is supposed to do what they're told. That's the way it works. They're supposed to uphold the laws.
Yeah, but the oath is to protect and serve the people.
Yeah. And what's the military's oath?
I don't know it.
To protect against any acts of
foreign invasion
or domestic.
So the oath of enlistment for military services.
This is all military branches, correct?
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay.
Is I do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, and that I will obey the orders of the President of the United States and the orders of the officers appointed over me according to regulations in the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So, but I would denote that will support and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic, comes first in the oath. So if there is a conflict between that and the President, I feel like that is why it's worded like that. Because
this isn't a president we're dealing with. This is a governor. And as you're going to say, well, yeah, they're still an elected official. And those are two different offices.
Yes, they are. But if the president comes down and says, hey, you need to listen to the governor, then at that point it creates a conflict in the oath.
No, it wouldn't roll that way. I don't think it would.
I mean, it might not get that high.
I don't think it would.
I'm just saying if
you're a Republican president saying, hey, you need to listen to your Democratic governor.
No, I'm not. I'm talking about the oath.
Oh.
If something happened, regardless of circumstance,
mm-hmm.
and it came down to it, the way the oath reads is to protect the Constitution comes first before they say to listen to the president.
It wouldn't matter. They wouldn't. It wouldn't make it up to the president anyway because they got to go through fucking circuit court first to see if the law's even fucking legit. All it takes is one fucking DA to fucking.
Right. I'm saying regardless of circumstance. If it happened, then the way the oath reads, it should be the Constitution before the president. That's what I'm saying.
The job of the president is to preserve the Constitution.
Right, but when you have a conflict, because this is creating a conflict, right? It's a conflict inside of the country, and where we have what we believe the Constitution is, and what this Virginia office is trying to achieve. And it's believed that they're infringing upon that right. So you have a conflict there. So if it was to ever escalate as high as it could escalate,
Then it would be in the Supreme Court.
the way the oath reads is that the Constitution should come first because that's where it's at in the oath. It comes prior to listening to the president.
Well, yeah, because the Constitution is the playbook, like I said
Right.
earlier.
Yeah.
It's the rules.
So, yeah, I'm happy that the citizens are doing something, as opposed to just, whatever.
I'm actually kind of curious to see what the Republican candidate looked like. If this is the dude they put in office, what did the loser look like? How bad was he?
Yeah.
Or she? I don't know. I don't follow
Well, I
Virginia
imagine
politics.
this wasn't the platform that they won on. Their gun reform was talked about in the policy.
So what was the
policy
platform?
Conversations of the
What was the
campaign.
platform they won on? Because I wouldn't be
I didn't go
surprised.
that
I
far
wouldn't be
back.
surprised if that was the platform they won on.
There was other stuff involving the platform. Gun reform was mentioned, but there wasn't any particulars as far as. Like,
Well, yeah,
how
it's
they would
never
go about
particular.
it.
It's what I said earlier. Everybody wants fucking change. Second something changes, everybody bitches about the fucking change because it wasn't done their way. Well, what is your way? Well, I don't know. Why'd you vote for him? Change.
Yeah.
And then if you come out against change, how do you know the people of Virginia just don't have a fear of change? God damn, I always hate hearing that condescending ass shit.
The fear of change.
Yeah, the fear of change. Let's legalize all fucking drugs. That'd be a change. Let's get rid of these dumbass fucking seatbelt laws. That's another laws I think needs to fucking go. You gotta wear your seatbelt. Fuck off. Don't fucking worry about it.
Yeah, I got airbags all around me now.
I don't give a fuck. The airbag should be optional. You should be able to turn them motherfuckers on and off. Hey, I'm just saying, you're not gonna live forever. Why does it matter if you go flying out of a fucking car? It might save your life.
Okay. All right. All right. We have a sketch for you.
A sketch?
Yeah.
Sketch.
You can't see it though.
Is it a sketch of my poker face, poker face?
Nope.
No.
We're gonna cut to Dougbert Goes to the Movies.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Two Dogs, One Movie. This is, of course, our premiere episode. If you're just tuning in for the first time ever, we, being me, and also me, we review movies we've never seen before from our magical bags. It's really just one bag, and I'm pretty sure that Russell puts movies in it beforehand. Don't break the veil. Okay, so we're going to review a movie that we've never seen before, based solely on box art and back blurbs. So let's just dive right in. From the magical bag comes William Shakespeare. William Shakespeare's Romeo plus Juliet from the visionary director of Moulin Rouge, which I did not realize was a Shakespeare film, play, act, event. Okay, so this is a special edition, and it stars Leonardo DiCaprio. I've heard of him, and Claire Danes, who was in that show Homeland. I don't know if she's really done anything else. Anyway, this also has the black dude from Lost, apparently. Yeah, it does. He plays Mercutio. It's right here on the back. Okay, so this movie is a brilliant and contemporary retelling of the world's most tragic love affair. Okay. Well, they don't tell us what it is. But this wildly inventive version of Romeo and Juliet is unforgettable. This special edition DVD also contains audio commentary by Baz Luhrmann? Lutman? Okay, if you could tell us your name, you just what's the joke? Oh, just send it and record it and tell us say your name. DQB does. All right. So Baz Luhrmann is a dazzling and unconventional adaptation of William Shakespeare's classic love story, A Spellbinding. Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes portray Romeo and Juliet respectively. Kind of makes sense. The youthful star-crossed lovers of the past. So this is clearly a movie about reincarnation. The setting has been moved from Elizabethan origins to the futuristic urban backdrop of Verona Beach. Okay, so this takes place in the future, and they are the reincarnated lovers, Romeo and Juliet. I assume that instead of daggers, they have some sort of futuristic laser sword. Possibly some sort of magical, mystical powers. Finger guns. They have finger guns. So they use these finger guns to duel each other using fierce jabs and barbs, which I'm assuming are just like witty takes of the original play. And in a twist ending, everything seems to work out for them, according to Rolling Stone magazine, which I feel like is a pretty big spoiler to put on the box. But, whatever. So Romeo leads a thug life. Fuck you, Rolling Stone. Juliet packs a semi-automatic, and the bard gets a taste of Pulp Fiction. It's pure calculation, and it works. None of those things work. I don't know who wrote this article for Rolling Stone, but I hope you're dead. We don't actually hope you're dead. I hope everything's going well. You're just not writing for Rolling Stone anymore. So other people in this movie are... it doesn't say. Yeah, apparently there's just 2 people in this movie. So Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes play every role in this movie, which I do think is a brave step. So maybe I'll take back what they said. Although Pulp Fiction had a lot more than 2 people in it, so I don't really know how it's like Pulp Fiction. Is it because he casts the same actors all the time? Is this like the Nines again, where it's just like 18 Romeo and Juliets, but like this time Leonardo DiCaprio is Juliet? Anyway, yeah, you should check it out. Oh God, is that a... Oh, if you turn it upside down, there's a Virgin Mary and a rosary on a pistol, so I guess that probably gives away that they're handguns. And is that like an Egyptian mummy thing? No, that's pretty clearly a St. Christopher medal, which they never leave Verona in the original, so I don't know why they need the patron saint of travels. Well, they did say it was futuristic. Maybe it takes place in some sort of like hyperspace thing. All right, so that's it for Doug's Movies. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, thanks, Doug and other Doug.
And
we're
super
back.
double extra other fucking Doug.
All right, so
Call me.
so many people in Virginia in Tazewell County do you think are going to buy Cybertrucks?
I don't know. With all the money they're gonna save on buying ammo, they'll probably just walk in fucking exit wounds style and throw duffel bags at the fucking sales dudes. They're like, well, can't buy any guns or ammo anymore, so guess I'll buy a Cybertruck.
Buy a Cybertruck. You can put a 50 cal in the back of it.
I thought they came standard.
I don't think they come standard.
Well, that's
I
fucking
think you gotta buy
bullshit.
it
Musk,
separate.
Elon Musk, get your fucking shit together. Trying to sell me a fucking Cybertruck with no fucking weapon in the back. What the fuck, dude?
I don't
That's
know.
like buying a Jeep Wrangler with no roll cage.
I don't know that Tesla makes 50 cals, but they do.
No,
make
with that fucking attitude, it's
flamethrowers.
time for them to start expanding their shit. Well, yeah, you gotta have the flamethrowers for the fucking turbine so you can turn the goddamn thing into the Batmobile. That's half the fucking fun of it. So you can flip on the turbine. Fuck yeah.
That's what you're saying, Barry, is they're selling the pieces.
I guess.
So I wonder how long before he announces, like, hey, did you buy one of the flamethrowers? Because here's an attachment that we're going to put on the back of the Cybertruck for you to put your flamethrower on. Rolling around with fucking...
What is it, like fucking DLC? Motherfucker's selling this dude. He's got the ultimate video game marketing fucking tactic, hands down. Pre-order your fucking vehicle. Get the DLC for your fucking vehicle. It's not even fucking out yet. Before you know it, he'll have the fucking season pass.
Oh, fuck. Nathan, if you're listening and this episode woke you up, we apologize.
Yeah, sorry.
All right, so I've seen a lot on Facebook where people think that Donald Trump is currently impeached. And I feel like maybe we should clarify how that works.
Okay, when it comes to right to bear arms, everybody's a fucking constitutional fucking attorney. When it comes to understanding our fucking impeachment process, nobody has a fucking clue. Everybody thinks they're a constitutional attorney. Okay, so
Yeah.
where we're sitting at now, and it is December 19th of 2019. So when this gets aired on Sunday or Monday, the facts may change a bit. But where we're sitting at right now is, in order for the way the impeachment process works is the House of Representatives, which is ran by Nancy Pelosi, said that the president had done something wrong. You know,
Mhm.
the whole phone call with the Ukraine is
the articles that got established.
those the articles of impeachment that they racked up to impeach him on.
Yeah.
Now I'm pretty sure there was only 3 that made it through. There was 2 of them that didn't, and I can't think of what they were. But the whole thing was, they didn't. What's funny is the articles of impeachment that actually went through. None of them were bribery. Because the 2 things that in the Constitution it says that you can impeach a sitting president over bribery, treason, misdemeanors, or high crimes.
Okay.
So it doesn't really specify what misdemeanors or high crimes are, but bribery and treason are pretty straightforward. Now, it's kind of interesting that they didn't go after him for bribery, because essentially what he was doing was, according to them, was putting pressure on a foreign government, and I guess extortion on a foreign government, which I can't think of it. One of them was like obstruction of justice. I can't think of
Obstruction of Congress.
obstruction of
Yeah.
Congress. Okay, so the thing is just because Congress sends you a thing, I'm pretty sure. Anyways, I'm getting off track. It doesn't matter. It does not matter anyway. That 2 of them didn't even go through. They originally had 5. They're only down to 3. So they filed for the articles, and they're saying we have enough evidence to move forward with the impeachment trials. The impeachment trial is going to be held by the Senate. The Senate has to convict 2/3.
Yeah.
So 2/3 of the Senate, the Republican ran Senate, ran by Mitch McConnell, is going to have to convict a Republican president. And then, if in case he is found guilty and impeached, they have to decide if it's bad enough for them to remove him from office.
So there's still 2 whole steps they have to go through.
Yes.
And they have to convince 2/3 of Congress.
2/3 of the Republican ran Congress ran by Mitch McConnell.
So you need literally almost all of the Republicans.
Pretty damn
and
close.
then more. So
Yeah.
So
it's not a just simple majority vote. It's 2/3.
right. It's 2/3.
So I don't think they're going to impeach him. I think the whole thing's going to go to the Senate. And it's going to die there, and the whole thing's going to be done.
Yeah. I was also reading the other day. I thought this was interesting because Trump has spent almost his entire term under some trial or another.
Yeah.
He's actually eligible to run a 3rd term if he doesn't get impeached.
If he doesn't get impeached?
Yeah, well, if he gets impeached, he can never be president again. Right? Like, he can never run for president again. That's part of being impeached.
I'm pretty sure if he gets removed from office, he can't.
Yeah, he can't ever. Well, yeah, if he gets removed from office.
Because
he can
just
never,
because he's impeached
he
doesn't
can
mean
never
they're
run
going to
for
remove him.
president again.
Just because he's impeached doesn't mean they're going to
Right,
remove him
that's
from
also a good
office.
clarification.
If you get wrote up at work, you're not fired.
Yeah. So the article I was reading was a political lawyer was basically making the case that because he's been under trial literally his entire term in office for one trial or another or some sort of investigation, he could be eligible to run for a 3rd term.
I don't know about that.
How's that supposed to work?
Because I think he has to file some obstruction of Congress. They're trying to file the obstruction of Congress against him. He can file obstruction of whatever. I don't know exactly what it's called. I just thought it was interesting. I thought it was weird.
So it's like you didn't give me the time to do my job right, so
yeah,
I can try.
I don't-
an extra
try
time.
again.
I don't know. That would be a losing battle. If I think what's going to happen is, and this is bred out of the same bullshit that said Obama's never going to give up power from the alt-right. Now it's just the alt-left.
I mean,
Like this whole thing, I
could be.
honestly think if Trump wins the
Because if we're at war, that's the other thing too. If we're at war, the president is supposed to not have to,
yeah, but
leave
you
office.
really think they're gonna suspend the elections if we're in war? We've been in war since 2001.
Right.
We've never had a problem because
No one's brought that up before.
Well, yeah,
so.
they've tried. They've said this shit, and it's always the fucking fringe on one side or the other. They always say this, ridiculous ass fucking shit to sell whatever type of propaganda they're gonna try to sell.
Yeah.
The whole thing is just laughable at this point. I don't agree with it. I think a lot of it is based in nonsense, to be quite honest. I think
Yeah.
a lot of it's based in propaganda fear, but at the same time, out of
Yeah, I mean, I also think it sounds like a load of bullshit.
well, if if they're going to go after Trump over anything, they pick the weakest thing they possibly can. Because that just goes to show you how dirty they really fucking are.
Yeah.
Everything they've thrown at him has been the weakest shit. It'd be like if I was, gonna make fun of Scrooge McDuck for his beak being too yellow. That's seriously it. Out of everything I could make fun of Scrooge McDuck for, I go after his beak being too yellow. Yeah. That's it. And it's like, well, you could go after him over a lot of things. I'm like, nope, his beak's obviously too yellow. That you can't trust that. So, and this is the same situation. So I don't know. The whole thing's a fucking circus. But if the Democrats don't get their shit together, Trump will win again anyway. So it doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't see him running for a third term. I think that's born in the fringes.
Yeah, I mean it is. Like, this is a politics lawyer that I've never even heard of. So
yeah. Well, I mean,
I also think he might have just been looking for that clickbait to get popular off of it, because that's what a lot of people have used this entire term that Donald Trump's been in office to achieve.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's good for business.
Yeah.
That's why CNN stocked empty podiums for hours on end when he was on the campaign trail.
Yeah. But we said that we weren't going to talk about Trump or the impeachment, so we're not. So let's move on. We have Jesse, who is going to be our UFC correspondent.
UFC correspondent.
Hell yeah. Politics to people punching each other in the face. It's almost the same thing.
Objection.
So he did a card review for UFC 245, and you're going to listen to that now.
Hello, this is Jesse talking about MMA. Actually, this is about UFC 245 we just watched. I'm not sure quite what happened in that last fifth round of the main event, but I'm ready to talk about this card, so let's get down to it. In the main event, we had Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington, and this is a matchup of two very alike styles in terms of fighting ability. They're both very dominant wrestlers, but they did show off their striking prowess because it was mostly striking, and it was a great fight, especially if it was your first time watching. It was a great introduction if you're just now jumping into the fight game or whatever you want to call it. This is probably one of my favorite cards now, besides all the havoc that we had watching this card, because it was quite ridiculous. I bought the card on my phone, and it wasn't letting me give it to other screens, so we had to cast it to Nathan's daughter's TV, and it was skipping a lot, a lot. And I was getting frustrated because I missed the fight before the main event, which was my favorite fighter, Max Holloway, which was also a great fight. My boy got robbed, though, kind of upset about that. So the coverage was kind of sketchy a little bit for me, for us, I should say. But yeah, there was some really great fights on this card. I think I'll just do a rundown from the first fight of the card up to the main event. So let's just dive right in. The first fight of the card was in the bantamweight division. It was Petr Yan. I don't know how to say his first name. I just say Peter. But he was ranked number 4, and the legend Uriah Faber, the California kid, ranked number 12. Yan was on a 9-fight win streak, and I think it's a 10-fight win streak now. I might be wrong on that. That might be the 9th fight he's won now with the Uriah fight, but it was a third-round TKO, KO with a front kick to the face, and it didn't look like it was very effective at first, but they'd showed the replays, and then I really retracted my statement there because that was a nasty front kick to the face. Holy moly. I really was hoping Faber could get back in title contention to give it one last run because he is getting up there in age and he's been around for a very long time. Much respect to you, Mr. Faber. If you're listening to this, just know that you should never give up. And if you do ended up hanging him up, just know I support you in anything you do. Moving on to the second fight, which was the other non-title fight on the main card. Marlon Moraes, which is the number 1 bantamweight contender, another bantamweight fight. And he was facing the featherweight GOAT, in my opinion, Jose Aldo. He's fought very popular fighters like Max Holloway, Conor McGregor, Uriah Faber, and many more. I had Jose winning this fight. It went to the distance, and it was split. I don't think it should have been split, or it was really close, but I don't think it should have been split per se. It was really controversial, and I didn't agree with it. There was a lot of booing in the crowd, and I don't think it should have went split. Jose was controlling the distance. Most of the time he was pressuring. I think the judges counted in the first round Marlon threw some wild head kicks at Jose. And apparently that's what matters, because I'm pretty sure that's what they scored the fight on, was those like 3 or 4 head kicks that he landed. And you shouldn't score a fight off of like 4 significant strikes and then that sways the judges. That's nonsense. Jose was landing some great straights, and he was just lighting them up. And I don't know. I thought Jose won that fight. So I guess I'm not an expert, but I've seen a lot, and I'm pretty sure that should have been Jose's fight. But moving on, we're going to go to the bantamweight, women's bantamweight championship, which was Amanda Nunes versus Germaine Durandamine. This fight went different than I thought. This fight was a lot longer. Most of Amanda's fights usually end up in like first round knockout here lately. The last time she went the distance was with Valentina Shevchenko, and she almost got caught in this 4th round. What was it? I think she was almost caught in a triangle, but she got out of it. And if Germaine was any better at jiu-jitsu, I swear she would have got subbed in that 4th round. I swear, if she had it any tighter, she would have subbed. It was tight. But this fight went different than I thought. I forget what else happened in this fight, because, again, it was really spotty and it kept pausing, and I was trying to, like, keep track of what was happening. But the main thing is Amanda Nunes did dominate. She did get compromised in this fight, which hasn't happened since the second Valentina fight, which was one of the best women's fights I've ever seen, the Valentina fight, I mean. But I think Amanda lost that one. But this one, where she's compromised, she did dominate, and hats off to her for getting the unanimous decision. It was not what I expected, and I'm happy for it. Moving on to the co-main, but they didn't call it the co-main, but it's basically the co-main. Max Holloway versus Alexander the Great Volkanovski. It was for the featherweight championship, which is 145 if you're not familiar. I think Max got robbed this fight. There was a lot of leg kicks being done by Volkanovski. He was being really effective with it, but that's all I saw, even though most of the fight I didn't get to see because, again, we were having some technical difficulties. We couldn't see most of that fight, and I was kind of really freaking upset because Max is my favorite fighter. I really wanted to see that fight, and I do believe Max got robbed. It was a really close fight. It's upsetting that the judges didn't see it the way that I don't know. Fair play to Alex, though, because those were some nasty leg kicks. Even though, like, he admitted after the fight that he did hurt his shin after a while, because there were some nasty leg kicks. But moving on to the main event, I'm going to go more in depth in this. The first couple rounds, Colby threw like 200 strikes. I don't know I'm not looking at the stats right now, but I'm just going off memory. This man threw a lot of strikes, and I was surprised it never went to the ground besides in the last round when Colby got finished. But these are two very, very high-level wrestlers, and it was a striking match, which surprised me. I didn't think that the wrestling would be non-existent, but they do say that when two wrestlers go up against each other, they end up staying on the feet because they respect the wrestling prowess. But Colby broke his jaw in the 3rd round, and he kept going. He didn't quit. He told his corner, like, I think my jaw's broken. I think my jaw's broken, like, over and over again. But his corner didn't, like, think about throwing in the towel. He just kept going because his corner didn't suggest that they throw in the towel. He's just like, failure is not an option. Colby has a character where he's like a MAGA supporter, he's a Trump supporter, he's right-wing as heck, and I'm trying not to curse on here, doing my best. I just think Colby could have, I don't know, he should have went for a takedown in the 4th round after he told his corner that his jaw was broken. Like, his corner literally told him to wrestle, and he didn't. He just kept striking, and I think he was afraid of Kamaru's wrestling. That's why he kept it on the feet. But Colby was chaining these combinations in the 1st and 2nd round, and the striking was top notch. The way he chained, he would go from like a jab to a high kick over and over again. It was something quite to behold. Kamaru, on the other hand, was throwing these bombs. Like Colby's was a volume striker, but Kamaru was just doing the more damage, and that's what led to the 5th round TKO. And that's all I got to say about the main card. I do have some honorable mentions in the prelims, though. There were some amazing women's fights. I circled this one. I think her name is Aldana. I'm not really familiar with her. I haven't been following her career that closely, but I will be. I think she needs to fight Aspen Ladd, the winner of the Vera Aldana fight. Vera was 10-0. She was undefeated, but she had a long layoff. Last time she fought was in March of 2018, and that might be the reason why she got finished in this fight. But she got caught in the first round by a really nasty left hook. It was a thing that I didn't expect. I thought she was controlling the fight up until that point, until that nasty left hook. And I do believe that she needs to fight Aspen Ladd in order to get that number 1 contender spot to fight Amanda next in the 135 division. Another honorable mention I would have to say is it was in the early prelims on Fight Pass. Brandon Moreno versus, I don't remember his first name, but his name's Cara France. Nickname is Don't Blink. They're in the flyweight division, and holy moly, I thought Cara France was going to be more effective, but he wasn't really doing a whole lot. He was getting some shots in there, but Moreno was just chaining him better, and he was moving his head better. I do think this should get fight of the night. If not, the main event should get fight of the night, but I do believe this is the fight of the night contender. It was one of the best fights I've seen all year. It was really fast, really action-packed. Highly recommend if you're not like too into the sport. This might get you into the sport. I highly recommend you watch this entire card, though. Also, before we go, there's this prospect that debuted. Well, he debuted on the Contender Series, Dana White's Contender Series. His name is Chase Hooper, and he showed his greenness in this fight because he fought, I think his name was Daniel Tamer. It might be David. It's one of the Tamers. Big fans of those guys. But Hooper came in this fight 8-0. I believe he's 9. Yeah, he came in the fight 8-0. And he got caught with his right hand when he was trying to throw this knee, and he got smacked with this big old right hand. Holy moly, I thought the fight was going to just end right there. I thought he was going to get finished. But he came back, and he was really grappling based, which surprised me with his length. He kept pulling guard. He kept trying to get top mount, and eventually he did. He ended up getting him in this nasty triangle to where he was in top mount, and he was just wailing on him with elbows. And I think that might get performance of the night. I'm not sure. But yeah, this has been Jesse's coverage of UFC 245. So thank you for tuning in.
And we're back. Thank you, Jesse, for that breakdown. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I want to gather you around while I attack a topic that is very close to the UFC card read down, very close to, among a lot of things we talk about. I like to take this time to discuss something I think we are all living in a flat illusion over, and that is the illusion of independence.
Whoa. I was told that I have independence.
They lied. Now, as everybody's, pissed off at me because they're like, well, I live on my own and I pay my own bills and I don't need a man or woman or, whatever, because I'm Mr., Mrs., whatever, independent. That's great and all. You're not independent. Nobody is independent. And I'm not talking about independent from your government or tyranny or any other bullshit. I'm going to leave the political shit out of this for this type of conversation. I'm going to talk about the independence that you claim you have in your life. Nobody is independent. Nobody. And as I explain why, because, I'm going to assume a lot of you have jobs of some sort, which means somebody had to hire you, which means you rely on somebody else for a source of income. Now, well, what about small business owners or whatever? It's like, well, they have to sell a product, otherwise they need people to buy their product. If not, they go belly under. This whole thing is based off of everybody feeding into the other. And you're like, well, when you put it like that, Wolf, then obviously nobody's independent. I'm like, exactly. So why is everybody so isolated from each other? That's the illusion. That is the ultimate illusion. Because you get told you're independent, you get told you don't need anybody, you're fed in this community to where you have to have people around you in order to operate, and yet you're told that you're independent and you really don't need anybody. So you're getting told one thing while something else is going on, and your brain doesn't quite know how to deflect or interact with it. So therefore, what do? You get a social media and you become very isolated. It's very interesting, especially the psychology of it. If you sit down and actually look at it, they say a lot of people who are on social media a lot typically run a higher depression rate, which it's funny because you figure being around all those people on the internet, it would actually boost their sociability. But a lot of them are socially awkward.
Yeah.
So it's like it's defeating its own purpose. They're getting told one thing while doing another.
So they also start living for that, those interactions, those likes, those hearts, those.
Well, you could live for anything. It doesn't make it good or bad.
Yeah.
It's all the intention behind it.
Well,
A lot of people.
attention is
No,
necessarily
the
good to live for.
last thing I heard from people who on Facebook is they live for their kids or whatever. But of course, I'm not saying they did it for the likes or whatever. You can be the judge. The thing is that a lot of times we get told one thing while doing something else, or we say we're going to do one thing, but end up doing the exact opposite. And that's where a lot of everybody's life gets very misconstrued.
Mm-hmm.
Like the illusion that the suicidal rate is always up around the holidays. That's
Right.
completely fake. That's fake news, folks. It's an old fucking hoax.
Yeah.
So the fact that, you run by people and they get so offended if they're not, Mr. or Mrs. Independent, it's like, well, do you really want to be?
Yeah.
Because think of all it would take for you to be independent.
Yeah, like completely 100% independent.
Yeah.
It's a hard world to walk through.
I mean, you'd be like the lead singer from Spinal Tap off that episode of The Good Place, where you'd literally be fuddling your own piss for drinking water. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with like reaching out and asking for help or acknowledging that, maybe you're not as independent as you think you are, because I mean, life's a lot easier when you have a team behind you and you have a team with you and you're pushing forward and moving things.
I think a lot of it is you can't do that because you have to have pride.
You can't to have pride,
you can't be like the victims. You're not a victim. You refuse to be a victim. It's like, well, there's kind of a difference. Just because something bad happens to you doesn't necessarily mean it was your fault. But if everything bad always happens to you, it's probably your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, like the pity parties and the oh poor me's. But you gotta break that. You gotta break out of that, and then sometimes you need people. Like sometimes you just do, whether it's an ear to talk to or someone to help along the way. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, community, teamwork, all of these things are things that we use to get through life.
That sounds very logical. Too bad we have a society to where you have to run 24/7 on next to nothing and fumes, and if you're not burning the candle at both ends, you're the biggest piece of shit in the fucking world. And you have to do it all by yourself. That's what society is pretty much shoving down everybody's throat.
You also need to like distance yourself from those types of people that think that and like put you through that kind of.
Are you kidding me? I say keep those type of people around and see how well it works for them. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I mean, you can try to show them the difference.
No, don't try to show them. Let them show you. And then just sit there and look at their flaws and be like, maybe. I mean, that obviously doesn't work for you, so I don't see it really working for me. It'd be like taking financial advice from somebody broker than you.
Yeah.
Nobody listens to fucking MC Hammer's financial podcast. He's fucking broke. He's fucking broke. Nobody is fucking tuning into that. He doesn't even have the illusion of having money. No, but the thing is you laugh, but it's fucking true. You're not going to. So they have to, put on this facade, which I'm not saying, nobody takes relationship advice from a single person. You'll have that single friend and you're like, yeah, I should take relationship advice from him. But do you ever really?
Yeah.
And are you any better off for it?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, the illusion of independence. We are not built to be independent. We are much like sheep, we have to be around other sheep.
Yeah, I mean, we're tribal by nature. Like, that's just part of it.
Part of survival.
Yeah, we band together and we persevere, and that is the best way to make anything happen.
So, yeah, next time you decide that you're at somebody's house and you're like, I'm independent this as you're borrowing money from them and eating their food, just realize you're really not independent. But neither are they.
All right. So I watched a movie this week that just hit Netflix called Six Underground.
Can you say you watched a movie?
Would you watch it with your eyes closed? Is that where this is going?
You watched part of a movie.
So okay. So I watched part of it. I did go back and finish it later.
I
on.
never went back to finish it.
But I did watch part of it. So you and I have both watched the beginning. About how far did you get?
A little after he shot the pool.
Oh, okay. So you got most of the way.
Yeah.
You got most of the way through the movie. So the whole beginning, the whole getting the team together, like, was super convoluted, right?
So I actually enjoyed how they kept jumping around through their timeline, I guess.
Yeah.
Did Ryan Reynolds make you jump,
No, I was laying in bed.
and convoluted make you jump? Russell James gonna jump? Huh?
He really just felt like he needed to talk during this part.
I couldn't help it. A fucking dumbass tune came in my fucking head.
Yeah, like I liked how they did that. It was kind of hard to follow. Like it kind of pulls you out.
Yeah.
And it's like, here's this part of a story, and then they throw you back into the story, and then and this is what this person did.
I very rarely have ever had trouble following a movie, and I fell asleep during all of that happening.
Oh yeah.
I was just like, fuck, I don't know what's going on. I'm sleeping.
It was fun to watch, but the very opening scene, like the long car chase, there was just a bunch of little stuff, and then like right after the car chase, so you see that guy up on the top of the building standing on a railing, and he's leaning super far forward.
Yeah.
You don't stand that way on your own. He
Yeah.
clearly had a harness that was anchored somewhere behind him, and they had this little tie-off rope too long, and it looked stupid. Like he should have fallen.
Yeah.
Just shorten it a little bit. Make it look like, I get the safety, like you don't want the dude to fucking fall off, but don't set him up there like he's gonna fall off. It just looked bad and pissed me off. And then either right before that or right after that, Ryan Reynolds is like, pit maneuver, and then they don't do a pit maneuver.
He just like hits him in the rear end.
Yeah, he just runs into him.
Yeah.
Like that's not a pit maneuver. Like everybody knows what a pit maneuver is.
We've seen it 1,000 times.
Yeah,
In literally
just
every other
fucking
Michael
do
Bay
it.
movie.
Or don't say pit maneuver, and that scene would have been way better. And then a little bit after that, another thing that super bugged me is they took a dead body and they wrapped it up in a plastic bag that was sealed and threw it in the ocean so it can float, not sink. Why not just leave it where it was?
So it can
Someone's
preserve
gonna find it
so it can
either
pres-
way.
So it can preserve evidence?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's stupid. Just throw the body in the water and let it sink.
Yeah. I mean, overall, I enjoyed the movie. So I would definitely say that this is probably the most ridiculous movie that Netflix has put forth as an original.
Yeah, it's crazy like the whole time. I do plan on going back and finishing it. I didn't fall asleep because I was bored. I had been up since 5 and then worked 12 hours that day, and I didn't start it till midnight.
Yeah, it's a hell of a ride. I wasn't really tired when I fell asleep. I don't know. But I went back to the last part that I remembered, and then I was watching it, and I was just like, this movie's fucking nuts. And like all of the slow-mo, like the crazy shit you see during the slow-mos.
Yeah.
Like there's one particular scene where like shit's flying everywhere, and one of the bad guys gets slapped in the face with a gun, and I fucking lost it. I laughed so hard. Ryan Reynolds' performance was pretty good. I thought it was a little weird because it's like the humor in the movie was, I don't know, it was making me laugh, but some of the cuts from the humor to the it's just a little weird. Just something you have to experience for yourself. It's kind of hard to explain.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth watching.
Yeah, I definitely think it's worth watching. It's entertaining. It's a good ride. So
I gotta eventually get into The Irishman.
yeah, that. Oh man,
That's an undertaking.
that. I was going to watch it in 2 sittings, and then I was just like, fuck it. Let's finish it. It's 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. It's good, though. It's worth watching. All right. Time for plugs. Virginia told me I could do less than 10. Twitter and Instagram is at DraftyQ. YouTube, Drafty Quarters Podcast Network. Facebook, Drafty Quarters Productions. Give us a like on there. Go subscribe on YouTube. Give us a follow on Twitter and Instagram. Become a patron on Patreon at Drafty Quarters Productions. And if you want to email us and let us know anything that you think that we should talk about, hit us up at the email, which is draftyq@gmail.com. We have some Patreon content going up right now for you. DQPD presents the Gospel of Winchester's on our $10 tier. You get an episode every week. We got some more stuff coming along. Crimson Ring is going to start doing no DQ watch-alongs starting in January. So check those out. And then we'll have some stuff for you at the $5 tier coming soon. So other podcasts you can check out on the network if you have not already is DQP Does. That's our movie review series. Drafty Dames. That's some lady talk. They are releasing episodes sporadically due to work schedules and training schedules, and they both have a lot going on right now. So, but they'll be back on a regular basis sometime soon, to be announced. All right, and then Drafty Tunes Reloaded with our new host Jesse and co-host Andrew. You'll be able to check out that here coming in the next couple weeks. Go ahead and announce the first thing that they're going to review is the Family Guy Star Wars trilogy. Should be some good shit. And then Crimson Ring, of course, our wrestling podcast on the Drafty Quarters Podcast Network. Check those guys out. They're going to also be doing some Patreon content. But I've already said that, and now I'm just repeating myself.
Yeah, and we here at the Drafty Quarters Productions want to wish you a very Merry Christmas.
We hope you've enjoyed this drink. Have a good night.
Thanks, folks. We'll see you next week.